we talked to this guy a couple of months ago, and I really liked him. He was at the gym. I remember he was outside hanging out at the curbside, and he was talking about how great the recruitment class of Maryland was. That's what he told us, and he was very excited to go to Maryland. And then I get a phone call from Jillian, our social media queen, and she reached out to Marcus Bradley. She keeps in touch with all our recruits, and she said, guess what? Marcus decided to go to Vanderbilt. He completely decided to move from Maryland to Vanderbilt. So now we got Marcus back on. We are now talking to Vanderbilt defensive tackle recruit, Marcus Bradley. What's going on, Marcus?
I'm doing good.
Well, man, it's so funny because I loved our interview with you, and I was telling Jillian I would love to get him back on the show. And I didn't think we were going to get you back on until probably sometime in the middle of a season next year when you start your first season at Maryland. And then she comes up and she tells me, you know what? He's not playing for Maryland anymore. He's going to Vanderbilt. So let me ask you this question. How are you and your family doing right now since the last time we talked?
No, we're doing good. Everything's been fine.
You healthy?
Good. Of course.
You excited about the football season next year?
Oh, most definitely. I'm ready to go.
So let me ask you this question, Marcus. What made you decide to jump ship from Maryland to Vanderbilt?
Just being able to actually watch games now, right? I wasn't really a fan of what was going on as far as the front seven play. So, I had to look for something different.
So, by the way, we are talking to Vanderbilt defensive tackle recruit Marcus Bradley. So when you decided after watching the games this year and having the opportunity to watch Maryland and Vanderbilt, well, Maryland's not playing right now, right?
No, Maryland's game got postponed, but they have been playing. I think they played 3 or 4 games.
So watching college football, you just didn't like the way you see, the way the team was playing. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't really look at what everyone else is doing. I only look at my position. Mm-hmm. Really, I'm only really looking at the defense. So as I'm looking at the defense, I wasn't a fan of what was going on up front.
And obviously you want to play for the best team that gives you the best chance to win, and your draft stock, obviously, because you want to look.
That's the best opportunity to make plays.
Mm-hmm. You also, you plan that in the future, if all goes well, you want to be drafted, and being on a weaker side of the defensive line, you might not stand out to a lot of recruits. I mean, than other recruits and other scouts. So maybe that's the reason why.
Yes, definitely.
So, Marcus, the last time we actually interviewed you, this is very ironic. The second guest we had on that day after yours is Terrion Sujic, who also is a defensive tackle recruit for Vanderbilt. Have you been in touch with him since you transferred over to Vanderbilt?
Of course. We go from Maryland. He was kind of part of my decision making too. So we definitely been in touch.
I remember him too. Yeah. He's a nice kid too. Very, very nice kid. Very excited for the football season and I like it. Ego, cocky, and that's what you need to be. If you're going to go and play and you want to be the best, you got to go out there and you got to talk. You got to talk the talk and you got to walk the walk, and that's what you have to do. As you guys know, we are talking to Vanderbilt defensive tackle recruit Marcus Bradley. Now, Marcus, when you look at Vanderbilt, you look at their culture. They're known over the years for their defense. Even in basketball, they're known for their defense. Size and ability to rebound, that's what they're known for. So when you look at the big picture of where you're going now from Maryland to Vanderbilt, besides the defense, what stuck out to you with the school and deciding to transfer to Vanderbilt?
Well, education is one of the top in the world. Right, it's one of the top 10 degree, so that spoke for itself. And then it's in the city too, so I was happy to I wouldn't be in the middle of nowhere. That's something I didn't want to be able to do. That played a factor in my decision. So just those two things, and football is always going to take care of itself. So I'm not really worried about that stuff.
How about COVID? Did COVID make you change your decision from going to Maryland to Vanderbilt?
No, I didn't really factor COVID in too much because I have family down south too. I mean, I guess it's good because I can go see them too with the COVID stuff because I have family down that way.
It's funny because it's not funny. I'm watching right now a lot of different players decide to transfer to other schools because of this season, because it was a short season. Some people, I don't know. I haven't interviewed any of the new recruits. Devin Kirkwood, he decided to go from UCLA. He hasn't even announced where he's going. We're actually going to have his Zoom. What do we call that?
Meeting?
No, not Zoom. Well, it's a Zoom meeting where he's going to come out and introduce where he is going to go to school. He was going to go to UCLA. He was going to go and play for Chip Kelly. He decided to go elsewhere. I haven't talked to Devin since then. We've been interactive on social media, and Devin's very excited to announce where he is probably going to be going to play. He's the number one cornerback recruit in the nation in 2021. So I understand COVID-19 could definitely play a big part on where people decided to go from one place to another. One question for me, when you look at the defensive position, being that you were going to go to Maryland, you were very confident about what Maryland was. Are you just as confident as what you see with Vanderbilt, with the coaching staff, with the quarterback play, with the offense? And really, Vanderbilt hasn't been a national title game. When was the last time they won a national title game?
Way long ago. They're never known as a football school. They're one of the SEC baseball powerhouses, but football they have not been successful.
So when you look at Vanderbilt and you look at the position that you set yourself, because I believe that going to Vanderbilt and going over there with some of the good defensive talent that they have now, Vanderbilt could be a team that definitely be watching moving forward in 2021. Do you see this team being a competitive team and possibly earning the right to play for a national title?
So, realistically, national title, you got to beat Bama. We got to make it out of the SEC first. We got to focus on that with Alabama. So, we got to work towards that first, before a national title. You got to catch Bama before that, just on a realistic note. So other than that, we're defeated right now. So, most people look at it like, oh, they're trash, boom. But I think the pieces are in place moving forward. Both quarterbacks are freshmen. Between this 2020 class and this 2021 class, it's a lot of great talent in here. So being able to, take this time to grow together next year when everyone's together, we're going to be a young team. We grow together. We're talking, down the line some years, we're going to be able to, make a name in the SEC most definitely.
So recently, Derek Mason, their previous coach, just got fired after an 0-8 start to the season. Was he the guy that recruited you and maybe impacted your decision to transfer? And if so, do you think you can get another job somewhere else, whether it's an SEC school or because we see them move around all the time, or elsewhere in college football?
Oh, he'll most definitely get a job. That's easy. He's still a great coach. Just maybe just head coaching wasn't the best job for him. I mean, but that was a tough situation being at Vanderbilt, trying to recruit, it's a private school and all the things like that. But he'll definitely get another job. He'll get a big job too. He's a great defensive-minded coach. And then what was the other question?
I was going to say, what were your impressions of him when you met him, and what impact did he have on your decision?
I talked to Coach Mason a little bit. Most of my decision factored off, my defensive line coach, Javon Hay. He's great dude. But, Coach Mason, I talked to him a little bit. He was a great dude, though.
Javon Hay was a pretty good NFL player, too, for the Texans a couple of years ago in the 2000s, too.
Yeah.
We are talking to Vanderbilt defensive tackle recruit Marcus Bradley. It flows now. It flows. It's no longer Maryland. It's Vanderbilt. So it's so interesting because I watch Vanderbilt basketball. Vanderbilt is always a top school when it comes to basketball. You don't ever think of them as a football team, but over the last couple of years, you see the growth of what this team is, the NCAA, and anything is possible. If you put the right recruits in the right position, you can absolutely. You say Bama, but Bama really hasn't been the best team in the nation. It's really been Clemson. The last 5 seasons, Clemson has been the best football team in the nation. You can argue your points on how good Bama's been, but look how good Clemson's been in the last couple of years. So they've been sensational. And they're in the ACC, so who would have thought? So when you look at your position and moving forward, now I understand, first of all, did your family have anything to do with your decision on going from Maryland to Vanderbilt? That's question one. And number two, when you look at the position that you put yourself in, now, do you feel this gives you the best opportunity to possibly get drafted and go to the NFL?
So my family, they were all for my decision. You know, they were happy about it. You know, they're behind me as far as whatever I do. So that was an easy decision. You know, they were right there with me. So as far as, you know, the best opportunity, yeah, I'm gonna be able to play as soon as I come in, or I might have an opportunity to get on the field quick. So having a resume of playing 3 years in the SEC, you know, as a defensive lineman, you know, you get the right numbers and just, you know, if you can play 3 years to 4 years of real playing time in the SEC, you're definitely going to go to the league. Like, that's hands down. You see it year in, year out. Best players come from the SEC too.
No, and I see LJ DeLeon. He's telling me, no, don't take this to the heart. He says Vanderbilt will be trash for quite some time, and then he writes, no, it has been Bama. What? And I said, and honestly, LJ, I'm going to be honest with you. Bama has been the best regular season team in the last 5 years, but how many national titles have they won in the last 5 years? Let's be honest. How many? So you're talking about Clemson that's wiped the floor with them practically every single year,
except the first time.
Except, you know what I'm saying? So again, yes, in a regular season, it's Bama, but in the championship games, I'm sorry, it's not Bama. Bama has how many national titles have they won in the last 5 years?
2.
That's all that matters.
Clemson won 2, and then LSU just won this year.
So there you go.
Matters the playoff play.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. And to me, Clemson's been the more dominant team in the playoffs than Alabama. Alabama's won 2 titles, but I still think Clemson's been the better school, the better program in my eyes, especially with Alabama. And you know this, Marcus. When you look at Alabama, they have the best opportunity to bring in the best recruits in the nation because they're Bama. It took a while. Yeah, they
don't have to recruit.
They don't. And Dabo Swinney, it took him years to build this team. It took him years to build a name, and he went to school. He went to Alabama. You know, so again, it is more incredible what Clemson has done than Bama.
So Marcus, your team actually made history a couple of weeks ago. They had the first female player in a Power 5 game in Sarah Fuller. She kicked off to start the second half. It was making great headlines. What was your reaction when you saw that?
Oh, that was special. Whenever history is made, it's special. You know, I thought, you know, that was something, especially, you know, for me going there, you know, that being history made at my school, you know, that's great.
By the way, LJ said, I'll definitely be watching for you now. I'll tell folks that's a down-to-earth guy. That's what he said about you. So
I'll be chilling, man.